My name is Meghan Drake. I am a sophomore at Oral Roberts University in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and I am the Spring 2014 Washington Times intern. Okay, a typical day at the Washington Times, and this varies, but one of my most typical days would be meeting at Union Station with 2 other interns to catch a cab. We would go to around 9:30, catch a cab, be at the newsroom around 10. Then I would have around 15-30 minutes to kind of brush up on the news of the day, check headlines, check my emails and my voicemails. And then my editor, which was David Sands, who's the policy editor at the time, would come around to my cubicle and kind of give me the rundown for the day, what my story would be like. He gives me kind of like a tout of like what is the big issue going around this, and kind of what he's looking for in a story. Then he will just let me loose. He goes to his newsroom meeting and talks with other editors about what's going to happen in the news cycle for today. I will, start researching. A lot of the time with my story is built on research, so I know exactly what I'm writing about, and I'm like kind of a mini expert on the subject. And then that would give like an hour or 2 for research. Start calling people to, get quotes and experts, scholars. Most of the time that is leaving a voicemail for them to call you back. So, have a quick lunch. I usually go downstairs to their little cafeteria area to get my mind a little bit off of the computer screen. Then come back from lunch, brush up on some more calls, start writing some of the B matter, which is kind of like the bottom graphs of your story. That's just kind of like, this is what this is, this is what this is. And then hopefully by the end of the day, I have enough interviews and quotable material and start really like getting down and writing my story around 3 or 4 o'clock. Then stories are due by at least 6, and but I usually went home at like 5 o'clock. So it's kind of flexible with all of that, but that's a typical day in the Washington Times. I think when I first met with my editor, I asked him the dress code question, and he was like, you always want to look really nice because you never know who's going to come in the newsroom. I'm not going to lie, nobody fancy came into our newsroom throughout the semester, but you never know when you're going to be sent out on an assignment where the dress code is pretty fancy. So you always want to be pretty business professional. So a lot of times I would wear like a pencil skirt, a nice blouse, dress pants, or like a dressy dress with a blazer. So you always want to look as professional as you can, because that always helps you in the long run as well with meeting people and making connections and putting your name out there.
Offer advice to a future intern, what would you say?
I would say have confidence in yourself as a journalist. I know that could be cliche, and I know that you'll probably hear that throughout the semester many times. But to be able to go into a newsroom and say, you know what, I'm going to do my best effort today. I'm going to write the story so that every person can be a little bit more knowledgeable on this subject. And really just write the way you want to write. Write the way you think a person would want to read that story. Have confidence in the way you are approaching a subject and what angle you're taking. Don't always stick with the mold. Don't always write the story like the Post or Times, the New York Times, or the AP is writing. Write something that you would want people to read and have confidence in that.